Got a good thing for you. Don't let anyone tell me otherwise, baby. That's right, girl. We'll be fine, whatever we'll be, and you ought to know by now. But you feel to be the same no matter where we're from.
Bonjour et bienvenue au bord du lac Bijou, mon littow animaux. That's what's called a callback. That's where you refer to something later on that you mentioned before. So if you were watching previous episodes, you will know that the phrase littow animaux is absolutely adorable. It is, isn't it? Littow animaux. So today's Lakewatch is actually going to be a callback where I call back to so long ago that it might not even be a callback. You'd have to have read my first article in the Phuket Gazette. The first thing I got published in Thailand about 22 years ago. But it's funny and it involves littow animaux. Let's go. I'm at about the 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock on the lake. I really should think about that, you know, before I say it. You know, like, where am I on the lake? Right, say that. But, you know, that'd be, it'd lose some spontaneity, wouldn't it? So that's the new outdoor gym. I don't know whether I should stop calling it new now. You've all seen it before. And we're just panning around. And it's pre-dawn, just. So we're looking at milkiness. A milky reflection in the water and a milky sky before the sun comes up and makes everything golden and lovely. So one of the things that I haven't really talked much about is, you know, the amount of people that are on the lake, even at this time, doing pretty normal domestic stuff. I mean, like over there today, yeah, there's a couple of lads fishing, and there's the usual, I call him Chinese dude because he looks Chinesey, doing his workout, which seems to go on for quite a while. He's an elderly chap. Sometimes says hello, sometimes doesn't, but that's fine. You know, he's focused. And then there's a guy who's been cultivating stuff along the bank over there, and already in that corner there's a guy who's got like what do they call it, where you grow vegetables in the air, whatever that's called. He does that. Aquafarming? No, something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, but there's always people gathering on the lake. The stuff that is there in natural abundance, from fruit to chili to vegetables to various leaves that the Thais cook with. There's always that kind of thing going on. And it reminded me, the very first thing I ever got published in Thailand was a story about Louie's mum, obviously when we were still together, a very long time ago. And the story was in the Phuket Gazette, thank you Alistair, and it was called About the House with a Big Strapping Farm Girl from Udon Thani. And the story was about one day, as happens a few times a year, flying ants occur, you know, and it's like a plague of locusts. There's just millions of them appear out of nowhere. And if you live in a house, of course, they all head for the lights. Now, when this happened, Louie's mum and her sister immediately switched on every light in the house. And then both of them, without speaking, grabbed pans and half filled them with water. And then they caught the flying ants and threw them into a pan, into the water. thus stopping them from flying away. And they had a lot. Very, very quickly, they had handfuls of these things. And then Lynn, Louie's auntie, and Soy got a couple of knives out and went out into the garden. And we were in Patong, so not a rural area, okay, but just went out into the area outside the house and the garden, and came back later with a ton of food. And no one had been to the 7-Eleven. No one had spent any money. They just got a knife out. And out they went and came back with food. And then they cooked it up with the ants and sat there and had a yummy, yummy meal. I wasn't into that sort of thing at the time, so I didn't join in. But they had a fantastic time eating the flying ants and various stuff from the garden. And I thought at the time, and the kind of sign off on the article was, we Europeans or Westerners probably had those skills at one time where we could just go out in a forest and get a bunch of food for nothing and then cook it up, and there we'd have a feast and it'd be marvellous. And we've probably lost those skills now. You know, people who know what kind of mushrooms you can eat often, and the difference between those and the kind of mushrooms you can eat but only once, you know, they're considered experts and specialists. But I bet you, not so long ago, everyone's granny and auntie knew and could go out and not kill everyone with mushrooms like that woman did the other week in the news. And yeah, so we've lost those skills. So, you know, come Armageddon, should anything like really catastrophic have to happen, guess who's going to survive? Isan girls, big strapping farm girls from Udon Thani. They shall rule the world, and it will be great. That's it for today. Ta-ra.